So I do have a little bit of a leaning tower of pieces. So I got a X1 Carbon and a AMS2 Pro and a box of filament. So I'll rip all this open now and start printing something that I've been designing in Fusion 360. Also, to quickly note, absolutely not a product review, a how-to, or anything of the sort, because A, I don't know what the hell I'm doing, B, no one cares about my review because these things have been out for years and all the nerds that review stuff have already done a million reviews. They also have experience with other programs and whatever. This is just going to be showcasing what I'm using it for, basically, in relation to my car. So I might show some other prints and stuff of other little things I print, whatever, I don't know. A couple of things I'm super excited to print. I'm making a mount for my 3x5 keypad, and I'm going to print a oil funnel. So that's my first two things off the ranks, and yeah, see how we go with those. Alright, first thing first, scan to watch the unboxing tutorial, keep this box. Now I'm probably going to watch that just so that I don't break anything pulling it out of the box. Right, first up, that is very strange. You pull it out of the box by the bag and yeah, discard the box. So you have to trust that that bag's not just going to split open at the bottom. Can I help you with something? Right, plenty of packaging to get chucked away, but she's starting to get unwrapped. So it says to remove all the green stickers, didn't actually have any, but anyway. Also says to take everything out the top. Might need some wire cutters to cut some of these zippies. Alright, this piece, it's under that, but it's on that. I feel like I'm going to break something getting it out, but it is just styrofoam, but like it's locked in under this. There we go. Alright, that was pretty crappy. Couple of bags of that stuff, might save it. Yeah, there's just little bits of foam everywhere, like that's got a little bit of foam in it, it's got tape on it. So I'm going to keep poking around, finding what needs to come off. Right, so I need to remove these screws next, apparently. Already got dog hair in there. So using the typical standard Allen key stuff. It's actually a really long Allen key, which is pretty cool. So, and then, yeah, obviously unboxing some of the other stuff. Don't really know. Now, as everything with Chinglish instructions, it tells you to take these screws out, and then it says, don't forget to take out the foam under the hotbed as shown below, but anyway, which you will need to do during the calibration process. So they make it look like in the picture you just lift the bed and pull the foam out, but that bed ain't going anywhere. So I think I need to do the calibration, and then once it lifts I can pull that out. Right, after the screen's installed, which I've just done, I then need to install the spool holder, which I'm not going to install because I've got an AMS, so I'm just going to ignore that. Alright, that's a good sign. Connected to the Wi-Fi, remember the Wi-Fi password? Alright, started the calibration, so I can get my foam out now. It said it will cause a slight vibration, and then the thing sounded like a machine gun, so gotta love the old Chinglish instructions. Alright, now I think I've got everything. Yeah, it looks like everything's out of there. Had to register the app on my phone, so one more app to use, but anyway, at the end of the road. So if something's about to break. But I got a little ahead of myself. Started doing the calibration on the phone app once I paired the printer, but probably should have just done it on the screen, because then as soon as I accepted the thing on the screen, it then wanted to calibrate again. So I've cancelled the phone app, and we're just calibrating with the screen now. So making all kinds of smells and noises, but hopefully this is normal. Still going. Anyway, no better time. Rip peel off. Anyone that leaves the peel on, you got problems, mate. Well, also, midway through the calibration, I've removed the foam. This never told me when to remove the foam. It just said, don't forget to take out the foam as shown, which you will need to do during the calibration process. But I'm having a look at my little instruction manual here that says, download the app, blah blah blah, start the calibration. Do not remove the protective foam beneath the bed until after the initial calibration is complete. Good old China. I think that's how it's meant to go. Anyway, stuck it back in. Who knows? We'll find out. Well, that would have to be one of the most pointless instructions because it never dropped the bed down and calibration's complete. So, just gonna pull this and shit back out again. Always have the need to tinker, update firmware, sure, why not? Alright, I'm gonna unbox the AMS2 Pro now while the firmware's updating and see how the hell I install that. Alright, so the AMS is set up. I pulled that out of the box, set up this desiccant stuff. Now, trying to read these instructions. Filament buffer, never actually got one of those, so yeah, not really sure where that's supposed to be. Well, this was my box of my third box, which is my red PLA, black PLA, black ABS glass fiber, yellow PLA, 2 packets of desiccant and a glue stick, but also a PEI plate. I don't know if I'll ever actually need that, but no buffer. So I'm gonna go through all the other boxes and see if I can find the buffer. Well, just waiting to speak to someone in China or something now about my missing buffer. So I might just install the spool holder and do it. Just use this green shit just on the spool holder for now, and just so I can do at least a test print today. Alright, so I'm asking this Rachel, who is definitely not actually named Rachel. Yeah, so apparently there's a 4th package, despite the website only showing me 3 packages being. So, first one says delivered, second one says delivered. Third one used to say delivered, because it got delivered today and it was the AMS, and now it says it's in transit, and then package 4 says unable to track. So obviously they just waited until I complained, and then they must have quickly pushed some buttons and changed all this, because I checked this 5 minutes ago before I started talking to Rachel and none of that was, still only had 3 packages. So, alright, so I guess the buffer is still on the way. Anyway, I'm going to proceed with hooking this up just direct into the back of it. I think I'll just stick it in the hole. I don't think I need to use a connector thing. Anyway, let's see what happens. Alright, stuck it in the hole and pushed till it stopped. I think that's what I'm supposed to do. Alright, now apparently I have to home all the axes. So that's doing that. Yeah, bud. Alright, I think that's done. I don't know, it doesn't really say anything. Alright, heating up the nozzle. And I believe I've pushed down on this until green jizz comes out of it. I'm not going to bother with glue because whatever. No, doesn't seem to have done anything. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. There's lots of tutorials until all of a sudden and nothing. Let's just try and print a scraper. PEI plate. No, let's just use the stock one. I don't know. Next. PLA. External spool. Print. See what happens. I think I'll have to leave the door open too because PLA 13 minutes apparently. I think this has a camera in it or something. Maybe when I'm actually printing car parts I'll figure out how to put the videos in my videos, but yeah. Alright, we're heating up the bed and the nozzle's cooling down, but alright, I'll start filming when something happens. Alright, something started happening. Now the nozzle's heating up again. Now we're gonna shoot some poo out the little poo chute. Doesn't look like anything's coming out yet. Now I think it prints a test pattern and looks at it with the camera. So it shouldn't go straight into printing unless it actually is connected. I'm just gonna see if this spool is moving. No, the spool's not moving, so I assume that it's not actually feeding anything yet. Alright, the nozzle's 200 degrees now. Alright, nothing. Nothing. Seems to be seizuring. Clean your tip. Don't think anything's coming out yet. Spool's still not moving. I think I was supposed to push that down button first or something, I don't know. Apparently still cleaning the tip. Alright, auto bed leveling. Jeez, it's going to be pretty precise with this many touch points. My last 3D printer was a piece of crap compared to this thing, so. Alright, it's spooling up again, but it looks like we got some kind of error. MQTT verification failed. Please update Studio, including the network plugin or handy to the latest version and restart the software and try again. Righto. Still leveling the bed though. I don't know if maybe because I updated the firmware and I didn't update the app, except I just installed the app 5 minutes ago, so. Well, we've got some kind of progress, just got another 1%. Calibrating dynamic flow now apparently, but nothing's coming out, so I dare say it's going to have an issue. Not really sure what's going on, to be honest. Spool's still not moving. Printing apparently, except it hasn't actually printed anything yet. No, she's no good. Nothing's happening. Alright, so I'm doing this nozzle extruder thing again. It does appear to be moving whenever I push down. The little gear goes, so I'm gonna just keep doing this till it comes out the tip. I don't know. Maybe we'll just try and print another file now. Still seems to have an issue with the MQTT verification failed. Please update Studio, including the network plugin or handy to the latest version and try restart software and try again. Alright, now I found another button I can push. If I click this, I can go edit. Let's go Bamboo Lab, PLA basic, color, green, dynamic pressure control, default, confirm, load. Oh, there we go. I think something started jizzing out while I was doing that. Alright, it should. Oh yeah, there we go. It's a little green worm. Now, just gonna grab that because it missed the bucket. Alright, we've got a little poo shoot coming out. Alright, now it should print something. Just gonna wipe at the tip. Right, I think that was my issue. There was nothing actually loaded. It should have given me an error though. It didn't say shit. Well, I'll try and print that scraper again. Turn on time lapse. Maybe you have to buy the camera. That's weird. Oh, time lapse cannot be enabled without an available external storage device. Well, how do I do that? Can I do Wi-Fi storage? Or do I have to stick a USB stick in it? No, I might just stick a USB stick in it and see if I can turn on time lapse. Alright, screw it. I'm installing the desktop app. Hopefully I can do everything from this too, and then I can sort that out and try and figure out this camera situation. Alright, this might be something to do with that error I was getting. Some new update. Let's install that. Alright, so this says, you know, blah blah blah, there's no storage. So then I'm like, what the hell? Where is it? I'm looking at the back of the thing, can't find anything. So you have to just use an SD card in here, I believe. So get my handy dandy SD card and whack it in. I will probably use a smaller card. This is a 256 gig. These things are always a freaking nightmare to stick in anything. Right, no, actually I need to leave that open. Alright, let's unformatted, please format it. Alright, do it on here. SD card format required. Alright, let's see how this goes. Alright, format successful. Okay. Let's go back home. Let's close this. Storage. Cool. Connecting. No files. Sweet. Alright. Alright, project. No project. Calibration. Nope, don't really care. Prepare. Sure. I don't know if I print off this or if... Alright, that's cool. Alright, I'm going to work this out and then start printing something. Alright, screw it. Let's just add... Alright, sick. So, I just realised that my thing is freaking too big anyway. Yep. Alright. That's just a giant waste of time then. My mount that I made is too big, so that's completely pointless. So, off to a great start. So, I might try and just print a scraper. I think everything's just going to work now. So, we go print files. This bad boy. Time lapse is on. Let's go. Let's see if this will print. Alright, PLA, print. Hopefully it actually prints this time. So it should be filming. I can watch that on my computer and I can watch that on my phone. It does also seem to have the green jizz coming out, which is good. So anyway, we can also watch this on the computer. So we might have a bit of a delay, but just pinch this off. Snap. Hopefully that doesn't get in the way. Let's count on. That's pretty cool. It shows all the temperature and everything. She's squirting some green jizz out the back. Hopefully this actually works this time. Knocked this little poo chute off. It's got a little dag hanging off it. Don't know if that'll affect it. Yep, looks like it's... So I don't know what I'm going to do about my mount being too big. I might have to send the STL file to Nathan and get him to print it. So that's apparently a clean nozzle tip. I want to go in and pinch it, but I reckon it'll pinch my fingers. Oh, what's it doing? Hopefully it figures out it's got shit stuck to it. God, I really want to just grab that little piece. Well, we're auto bed leveling, so I think whatever that little thing is just going to be sitting in the print in the middle. Do I grab it? No. It's going to pinch me if I do. I don't really know what happened because it cleaned the tip and then it just started spraying more shit out. Heating up the tip. We're about to do something. I think it does a little print before it prints the actual product, so yeah, we've got more shit coming out of it. Definitely gonna... Oh, no. I don't think it's supposed to be coming out yet. Ah, it's doing something. Definitely having a hard time printing. I think it's going to fail whatever this calibration is. I will double check it and make sure it is PLA. I'm pretty sure it was PLA. We're printing more stuff. Pretty cool. Alright, so you can't really see anything in the video, but on this camera you can actually see the LiDAR getting used or whatever. You don't really see it there anymore, but Printing apparently. I assume it's just cleaning its tip. There's shit all over it, so. Alright, let's just see what happens. I'll keep you updated with the time lapse, I guess. Alright, it seems to have an error, but it's not really printing anymore. I think it's just looking at it. Seems to be okay. Or maybe it was just because it was looking at it. I don't know. I'd say it's a pretty shit print so far because it's already got dags all over it, but cleaning its tip again. Going ham again. Jesus Christ, this thing's fast. Holy crap, this thing's fast. This thing's been smoking the meth for sure. Jesus. My last printer would have taken an hour just to even get this far. So it's been going for maybe 2 or 3 minutes. 80%. I can't get over how fast this damn thing is. This is wild. I don't get how it was printing so badly slowly, and then it can go to lightning speed and it prints perfect. So hopefully after this print, I can just clean the bed and it'll... I wonder actually if it's just because I wasn't using glue. So it might be why the little first dags weren't sticking properly, maybe. I assume that 19 out of 25 is layers, so yeah, I think that's how many layers it prints, so not long to go. The scraper's pretty tiny, but two more layers. Alright, last layer, so this should fill it all in now. Yep. It's pretty cool. And I think I have to wait for this to cool down before I try and peel it up. Alright, done skis. So I'm hoping that's just, now that it's finished to print, it's got a little poo dag hanging off it. Hopefully it just snaps that off or something. Anyway, not really sure what I need to do now. Quality guide. Alright, well, I think I'll have to wait for that to cool down and then peel it up. Well, it peeled up alright. It's pretty good. There's like one little issue there when it started, one little wonky. I had a couple of little wonky levels there, a couple there, but I mean, like, it's very solid. It's very hard to do one-handed, but I kind of had to flex the plate for it to peel up. But let's peel all this crap off. I might just print something else now. Alright, I'm gonna peel this off and then put it back in and print something else. Alright, what can we print? No, don't want to print a stupid boat. Film sticking, 3 hours, no. Mini tray, 2 hours, no. So I've got about 200 grams of filament, so 40 for a phone stand. Bamboo Lab badge. 3D Dino puzzle. No thanks. Might just do this stupid boat. 26 minutes. Alright, time lapse. Textured PEI plate, 4mm nozzle, PLA, external spool, print. Let's see if this has less poo dags coming off it this time. Probably not going to film every step of the way this time because I'll just do the, I'll just show you the time lapse at the end. Alright, so far so good. It's just poop shooting. Nice clean snap there, bud. My problem is it cleans its little tip, but then it keeps coming out. So I don't know if that's why it makes this go gross, but go clean your tip again, bud. Now it's touched, so now it goes stringy. Alright, that seems to be pretty clean now. So I think it just wipes its little tip there. But it's got stringy shit on it again. So I don't know how to stop that. Maybe it's just because I'm using PLA, I don't know. It didn't really seem to affect this though. Like it just had stringy shit all over there. But it ended up with stringy shit in the print, so it did kind of affect it in a way. It just luckily didn't affect it much. Alright, so it dropped another bloody little poo dag right in the middle, which I flicked out, luckily. I was able to blow it away, but anyway, let's see what happens. It gets this little clogged tip. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. But maybe it's just crappy filament. I don't know. Maybe it's because the filament's not dry enough, but it just came out of the bag. Like whatever that is. Anyway. Alright, printing. So, let's see, it's got like shit on it already. Alright, maybe this will work. Alright, we're back in 20 minutes. Well, we got to like level 58 and it looks like something's gone pretty wrong. It's got like a poo dag on it. Pretty bad. And it started printing really weird on the fill as well, so I'm not really sure if it's recovered or if it was something wrong with it. Also looks like one layer sort of changed temperature or something, I don't know. Wait till we sort of finish it before we really assess it, but whatever. Right, getting into the final stage of this little benchy, putting the top on the roof. So there's been the odd little ball bag dag that's hanging off it, but about 60 more levels to go. So pretty much just the roof and then a little chimney. So I think it'll go pretty quick that last little bit. Also, the more you print, the better the camera works out, because it sort of has to look down on what you're printing. When it's like level with it, it doesn't really show up much, but then as it builds out the levels, it looks better. cool to see how it builds out the roof. Whether it falls in or what. Looks pretty good. Then it does like this random fill in, like scribbles on it. Well, other than that one little bag, it's looking not too bad. I think the little hole in the back looks a bit whack, but alright, we're on the little final stretch. It's just pumping out the layers now. Just doing this little chimney. So what you don't really see in the picture, it's got like a stepped lid. You don't really see that in the drawing, but nearly there. Done. Let's peel it up and have a quick look and then off to bed because it's nearly 12 o'clock. Alright, so here's my thing. A lot of stringy bits. A couple of dog hairs, I think, but seems to struggle with the hanging bits. Also, like one of these levels shifted or something, unless it's meant to be like that. I did drop it, so that's probably what explains this dog hair. That's pretty much unreadable, whatever that's meant to say. Plus that. The back hole looks a little gross. The top one's not bad, but it has some little divots in it. So, if anyone knows how to fix this, make it better. I think it's just dog hair that I got on it when I dropped it. Anyway, look, it's gonna do for probably what I'm gonna do with it, but I'd like to get it a little better if possible. But anyway, the only thing I'm still concerned about is just how it goes gross when it does all these lines. And it just gets a little dag hanging off it from the start and it just dooms it. The first few layers are like, when it was doing these levels, it was leaving little stringy bits everywhere. Alright, so I printed my boat, printed my scraper, then I printed a little dinosaur puzzle for one of my nephews. Anyway, then I spoke to the 3D wizard, Nathan, who said, what do you mean it doesn't fit? Why don't you just stand it up and put it on a diagonal so it does fit? So anyway, reckons it's going to use 100 grams of filament, which I should just have 100 grams left of that green, 2 hours. So gonna hit go and go to work and just watch it on the camera and see what happens. So hopefully it turns out alright. We'll find out. Either way, there's just a free filament that came with it and I don't really care if I waste it. So anyway, let's see what happens. Alrighty, well that's all printed. Came out pretty good and I got a good time lapse of it. So I'll probably take the BA into work today and take this with me and test fit it and see what needs to change. I'm pretty certain that these mounts are way too big to fit, but we'll obviously at least we'll now have a base point of where to start with and how to modify it. Right, and then just to use up some more of this green filament, because I've only got a little bit left, I'm just going to print this little turtle. Just something to take to the nephews when I go down to Melbourne on Friday. Just some little trinkets and stuff, so we'll obviously put time lapse of that in too. Alrighty, car, mate, badly 3D printed part, mate, car. Alright, let's rip off this, pull these side trims out, get this out of the way, see if this even comes close to fitting. It's definitely too wide, so that's a start, and then we'll see if the mounts even come close to lining up, but definitely too tall as well. So anyway, that was the whole point of this. I literally took some rough measurements off one of these with a ruler, took some photos, and then designed it. So it's all a learning process for me. So, and I mean, it's just cheap filament. So anyway, let's see roughly how bad it fits. I gotta say though, Haltech's drawing for how this keypad fits, pretty spot on. I mean, I was worried that my print quality wasn't the best, so my holes weren't super round, but I thought I might just have to make them all bigger, but everything fits, and it's like it fits perfectly in that, so that's the positive. So I will also probably make it fit in flush or something to my final mount, and my plan is to put either like a USB charger or something here, or provide provisions to fit that power source still, and then maybe I'll make this completely shorter so that you can still put things down here, but it might be too hard to get them back out. So maybe I'll just put in a cavity that comes, you know, up in that, if I can. Anyway, might even be 2 pieces to get that to work, but anyway, let's keep going. All right, so now, as I showed earlier, it's too tall, it's too wide, but I mean, I kind of got the width of it, the inner width of it pretty good, so I'll maybe bring these out a little bit. I've just run all the cables through it, so they're kind of out of the way, but by the time we shrink that down more, what I'll probably do now is I'll just flip this over and see how close these mount holes actually came to lining up to the right position. Also forgot to remove the factory tray out of there, but anyway, so if I flip it, that one is not bad. That one is, maybe just has to come over maybe half a bolt hole, so that bolt hole is 10 mil, so maybe 5 mil. I might just remove this fully, which is kind of hard now that I put the boot in it, but just get it a little bit more out of the way. So it definitely needs to be smaller anyway, so I'm just going to print another one that's a little bit smaller in a few dimensions, so definitely needs to be less height. Probably take some out of here and move that over, and then probably take some out of here, so move that hole closer, and then take some out of there, and same deal, probably move that hole over, take some off that, move that hole, probably won't, yeah, if I move that hole a little bit, I probably won't move that hole, but I'll just take some out of here. Anyway, so yeah, the 2 holes need to be about 5 mils closer together. This needs to be about maybe, I'll start with 1 centimetre narrower and 2 centimetres shorter, just so the next one fits, and then go from there. Well guys, the buffer, cable, whatever these 2 other boxes are, what is that? Filament buffer, switching adapter, oh that's the power adapter, PTFE tube connector, so, and the cable all rocked up today, so we can probably give that a test run tonight, but then I'm off to Melbourne tomorrow, so there's no more 3D printing in the foreseeable future for another week. Then we'll continue this video later. Alrighty, so back from Melbourne, obviously got all these pieces here that I got on Friday. Now, printed off a few more little things for the nephew. Turns out that little turtle thing I did, he absolutely loves that, so this should be another hit. So we'll hook the AMS up now and start printing another one of these in black. The keypad, just need to make some changes to it, and then hopefully I can work out Fusion and figure out how to make it smaller and print one in black and test with that. Alright, got my helper. Now, power adapter, 2 cables. This is one that came with the buffer. It's the one that came with the AMS. Not sure if I need this tube. I think they're just spares. They're just spares for the AMS, so they can go in my spares pile. Then got 3 of these. I think I only need 1 of these though. Maybe I need 3, I don't know. Anyway, just read the instructions, so try and work it out from that. Alright, seems pretty simple. Bolt the buffer to the back of the machine. Add the PTFE hose. I'm just going to use this long one because obviously the AMS comes with a hose, so that'll go into the buffer. Buffer goes into there. Seems pretty simple. I think I actually do need to use a few of these. Oh no, they got the quick connects in them, so that should be all I need to do. Yeah, can work on cars, can't work on 3D printers. Didn't see that little lock tab, so that's why that fits really bad. I was like, what is going on here? Anyway, so I'll loosen those screws and actually put that little lock tab in. Yeah, that's much better now. So, because there was these 2 like screws here, I thought it was the screws that were actually affecting it, but I didn't see that lock tab at the bottom. Anyway, I'll start connecting the hoses now. Alright, 6 pin into the buffer. Here, 4 pin. That comes out of here, goes into the printer. That goes into the buffer. Can get rid of my little screwdriver, Allen key thing. Keep reading the instructions. Oh, and the power cable is plugged in. Alright, you kind of just put it in there and it starts just pulling it through. Hopefully it works out that there's a, don't really know what's going on there. Maybe I need to keep pushing it. I don't know. Anyway, let's see if we need to. Yep, sweet, it's auto detected. Sweet, seems to be detecting the moisture as well, so I'll add a black as well, maybe do a multicolored print, see if that works. So just adding a PLA black. So I'll bust this open and feed that in and see what happens. Alrighty, let's feed in the black. Now, I sort of just poked it in and it kind of just push it and it just starts auto feeding. That's pretty cool. Detects it pretty quick. Might shut my lid because my humidity is going up rapidly. Let's see. Alright, it's worked it out. It's black, PLA, awesome. It's pretty handy when you pay the premium for the bamboo filament. What do you want? Whoops, didn't mean to poke you in the eye. Pretty handy when you can just do that. Do drying. PLA, let's just do 1 hour. Just see how much that dries it. Start. Please remove and store filament. Filament left in the feeder may soften during drying. Okay, let's not do that then. I think it needs to spin when it dries, so I'm not going to do that. Let's just let's load the black. So this should now poop out the grain. This will probably take about 5 minutes. Alright, I missed it. Pushing in the new filament. So it's obviously going to have some cream poop and it's hopefully going to turn black. This thing is losing its mind. There's no food in the 3D printer. Alright, poop is starting to change colour. Filament is starting to dry out again. I think that's just in the chamber. I don't think that's the actual filament. I just want to know if it'll keep track of how much black filament I have, because it was a full roll, whereas the green was only like a small amount. It looked like it was 200 grams, but I've printed well over 200 grams worth of stuff. Alright, I assume that's done. Might try printing something. Might just print a black Benchy, see how it turns out. See if this prints it in black. Not sure why the picture's still green, but see what happens. So I got my bamboo filament. I also went and Jaycar had a huge sale on, so I bought some basic PLA from them. It was like $10 a roll, so I figure just buy a bunch of that just to burn through for prototyping stuff. So something like this, you know, it's going to be the wrong size and stuff a few times, so I figure $10 a roll, I can get the design totally dialed in for less than $10, so why not? Even if the print quality is not perfect, I can use the ABS glass fibre is what I'm probably planning on using for the interior. So yeah, dial it in using the cheap filament and get the design perfect, and then work on the quality with the better filament. Alright, so that actually printed really well. There was one little line on it there. That is supposed to also be different colours there. Different textures anyway. So other than that one line, it printed probably better than the green one that I did. The green one had pretty big hang downs on the top of the doorways. I don't know if it's just the colour makes it look different. Anyway, that came out fine. I'll try and figure out how to make this mount smaller in Fusion and print one of those. One thing I also didn't realise was this build plate is actually different textures. One side, it will be absolutely impossible to show on video, but the texture is coarser on that, like the chunks are bigger. So that's the fine texture, and that's the coarser texture. Maybe that'll show up. Yeah, that was the rougher side, that's the smoother side. So to your finger it's really obvious. That's super smooth, and that's, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so I'll probably be using that finer side for most stuff now because it's actually much nicer. Alrighty, so finished printing. Did warp a little bit, just from the heat. Also, it's a little bit thinner than the last one, so let's compare it to the other one, because yeah, the bottom level on that's not the greatest, but it's definitely lighter than the other one. So I don't think I made it narrow enough, maybe. Somehow I didn't make it any shorter really either, so let's just go. Alright, I'm just gonna clear my table. So a little bit narrower. I also used, I guess I used a lot more fillet on those than on those. So height wise, was supposed to be about 1 centimetre shorter, I thought. Ended up 5mm shorter, which is not the worst. It was also supposed to be about 1 centimetre narrower, ended up about 8mm narrower. One problem is that these holes ended up probably a good centimetre narrower when they probably needed to be 1/2 centimetre. So I will go try and test fit it, but yeah, I'm not expecting any great result here. I probably should have left it at 5mm thick, but either way, till we work out the sizing, using less filament at least, so, or less infill anyway. So we'll go test fit it, and I'm pretty sure it won't fit, but we'll find out. All right, definitely cooked this. So too tall still. It's about 1 centimetre too, so it's still about 1 centimetre too tall. I've also realized I can do a flat all the way across the top for extra support. It doesn't have to be cut out like that, because obviously that fully sits flush under here. Like, there's plenty of room between here, so it can actually just be a solid piece all the way along. Now, screw holes, I might have to flip this to check the screw holes, but so I definitely need to take, let's say, at least 1 centimeter off it, height wise. Width wise, it kind of tapers actually. Let's get this cable's sort of out of the way. I might just ditch the cables actually all the way out of it. Alright, so cables are just completely out of the way now. Yeah, this taper that it has is a little bit hard to see. I think the bottom has to be narrower. Yeah, the top is fine. In fact, the top is probably perfect. Probably has, it could probably be 5mm wider, but the bottom is definitely tapered. So I'll do my best to do a measurement of that. I forgot to bring down the ruler. So I would say an entire centimetre at the bottom has to go, at least. Also, once this is on an angle, it will sort of sit down a little bit more, but so I need to take at least 1 centimetre off the bottom, 1 centimetre off the height. Now, bolt hole wise, we line up that one. I just need to move that out, maybe 5mm, I reckon. Actually, it might be, I might just leave it, to be honest. It depends what angle you're at. If you're dead on with that, that's perfect. If you're dead on with that, it's maybe 3mm. I'll spread them 3mm. I'll add some taper into this, and I'll flatten the top of it so it's all one whole sheet. Then I think that will actually bolt up. So let's go make an adjustment and print another one. So in about 1.5 hours, 2 hours, we'll have another working prototype and we can test fit. Because I had also moved where the mount holes were on the actual pad itself, from the green one, it's the height and offset and stuff is a little bit different. I just thought I'd double check that, make sure all the holes still work and fit and everything. So I'd actually be pretty happy with that. I wouldn't mind maybe putting that on a slightly different angle to tilt it forward a little bit, but we'll start with just flat for now. We can change the angle later. So I think once we get this piece to actually fit properly, then we'll worry about sort of the ergonomics of it. We'll start making changes there. All right, so added my taper. Takes about 5mm out of each side. Added a radius at the bottom. Let's go to the back face. Added let's go to the top. So that's now one solid piece. And then it has a fillet radius there to add a bit of strength. So this should fit perfectly now. So what I will end up doing is this angle will go slightly tilted up to push the bottom of this out more, to tilt the panel closer to being facing the driver. I may end up doing like a fancy outline around that as well, so that the panel sort of sits in it more than around it or on it, if that makes sense, but that will all come in later revisions. Let's just get it fitting into the car first. Right, V3, import, lay on face, lay on that face, and then rotate that way. Beautiful. Slice. Should be about the same as earlier. Yeah, 2 hours, 84 grams. Let's print another one, see what happens. Alrighty, so V3 printed, peel her up, a little bit different design, pretty much a solid top now with radius, give it a little bit of strength, a little bit of radius those ways as well. So let's see how this compares to the other one. The easiest way to show the differences is those holes are lined up, that one's out a little bit more, so spread a little bit more is what I think I needed, and then just the taper, so about 5 mil, so hopefully that fits. We'll test that in the morning. It's just got a bit late now, so I'll test that in the morning because I've got to take the car into work anyway to start doing prepping for the next video. The thickness of the main piece is the same, but the base plate is, like the top support is a mil thicker. Obviously it has those bigger radiuses now to add some more strength into it. So anyway, we'll hopefully that fits the car too. Also the things where the bolts go are a little bit more slimline, so hopefully that helps with fitting it. So I'll try that in the morning and hopefully it fits. Alright, so one of the things I did was I obviously made it narrower and a little bit of taper. But one of the things I was supposed to do was make it shorter. Looks the same height to me. Definitely forgot to make it shorter, so gonna reprint version 4. Alrighty, version 4 designed, lifted it a centimetre, added a little bit more taper. It was only 5 mil of taper between here to here. I've gone to 10 mil because when I was looking at it, once it printed, it didn't look that big, so 10 mil of taper should cover it, and then now it's a centimetre shorter, taking that length out of there. So time to export this one and print it, and I'll test it in the morning. Alright, well, I've got about one layer done, and I realised something when I was going back and looking at a video of this. I realised if I brought that in a centimetre, it's going to be very close to this edge here. So I actually went back and looked at this, and yeah, my line was actually, so if I look at my V4, my line's actually really close to where the keypad will fit, so the keypad would almost touch the edge. So I've made a V5 where I've moved it over another 10 mil or something. So I'm just going to cancel this print, stop, yep, save my ink, save my filament, and print V6, no, V5. Alright, let's speed run this. Export, Bamboo, prepare, delete, add, V5, lay on face, that face, rotate, done, slice, print. I'm not going to do that. Yeah, okay, so I don't need to keep doing that. It takes 7 minutes. Auto bed leveling. I'll just leave that on. Alright, done. Let's hopefully the prepare time takes less. Cool. Sent to printer. Printer started. V5, let's go. Right, version 5 made now. Yes, I accidentally deleted some of the fillets, whatever, to make it stronger. That was just while I was updating the design. So I've since corrected that. So next version we'll have all that back in. So if this fits, I can at least functionally use it for a little bit and see what else I want to add to it or change, and then not worry about the strength of it. Like, it's not likely to break, but yeah, the fillets is more for production if I do sell these so that they don't break for people. Alrighty, so we've now got V1, V2, V3. Unfortunately V3 was the wrong height. V4, where I realised these holes were too far to the edge. Now we have V5. So let's just compare V1 to V5. That should definitely fit now. I did also lower the mount by a decent amount, but anyway, so they should fit. Alright, well, I'm just going to drive to work and then I'll try and test fit it because it's really dark in the garage, so I'll show you when I get to work. I'm going to work today to do the cooler piping, so I'll probably once this is fitted to the car, that'll probably be at the end of this video, because this has gone on for like 7 days now, not consecutively, but... Alright guys, here we go, version 5 mount. Let's see if it fits. So I'm just going to run the cables through it and then start putting it in. Alright, so the taper is actually pretty perfect. I didn't really think about what I was going to do with that cable. So it's kind of just tucking through that hole there because it didn't really fit at the bottom. The angle is definitely wrong on the top. So I definitely need to put a little bit of tilt on that. I could probably even triangulate this corner a little bit more if I wanted to. What else? Height wise, pretty good. Just touches at the bottom. So it would basically fill that whole panel. I would probably want, realistically it should probably come up a little bit more, but I'll put the panel in it and just see where it wants to sit, and I'll put the side trims on and just sort of see how that goes. Alright, so the side trims are in. This one just doesn't quite fit because it just touches it ever so slightly right there. I could probably actually just trim that factory trim, but I could probably also put a little relief in there. This side is not too bad. Obviously the cable was a bit tight, but same, that clears that a lot better than this side does. So I think once the cable's not in there and this trim can centralize a little bit more. But what it does need is, it definitely needs more angle on it. It needs to tilt forward a lot more. It needs to come forward a lot more from here too. So I need to extrude that a lot more. So change the angle of the mounts, pull the bottom up, so twist this whole panel up more, and then make this panel thicker so it meets here better, because that undercuts quite a fair bit, like a good, say 10 mil at least. The problem is that that's round, so maybe sitting undercut is not the worst, because it takes the eye off the fact that if it sat flush, it wouldn't make, like making that same radius would be quite tricky. But obviously for version 1, that's awesome. So everything's quite solid. It's not bolted in, but I mean, it's, you know, it's it works good. Like handbrake down, you can, a bit hard to get to them, be easier once that tilts up more, but yeah, for version 1 that's pretty good. So what I'll do is I'll leave that in the car for now, just so that I can test to see how that PLA goes in the heat, and I'll start on version 2, make some changes. So even though that trim doesn't fit perfectly, that will end out this video on 3D printing. What I will end up doing is just including different versions of that mount in future videos. So nothing will be specifically 3D print videos, most likely, unless I do start making some more stuff. So just thought I would chuck that in there, just as, I don't know, I mean, I'm a dummy and I figured out how to make that in Fusion 360 and then was able to print it. So we're almost on track to making it work. So just sort of put that in there just as a bit of a show you guys that you guys can do that too. So anyway, I will keep revising that and show future updates in future videos. But anyway, thanks guys for watching. Anyway guys, I'll catch you on the next video. Thanks for watching. See ya.